We're in the training tool and I'm about to show you guys exactly how Akshan works and how to play him. What is up guys, my name is MipZ and welcome back to yet another League of Legends video. So today we're gonna break down how to play Akshan or Akshan. I'm a little unsure how you pronounce the name, so my apologies if anybody feels offended by that. But what I'm gonna do today is that I'm gonna break down how his abilities work and kind of make sure that you understand everything there needs to be known about him and the current like combos and stuff. So I hope you guys are very much going to enjoy this one and it's going to be very helpful. There is a lot of stuff with this champion that people don't realize, and for that reason I really want to break it down for you guys. Before we do get too much into it, then if you are new in here, make sure to go down below, click that subscribe button, join into our awesome community, hit the like button for YouTube algorithm, and lastly, if you want to hang out with me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. Wow, yeah, sorry. Anyways, let's go into this one and talk about the champion. So first of all, what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and talk about the passive ability. And I know I've heard this a million times before. MipZ, why do you want to talk about the passive? It's boring, it's not necessary. But the thing is, the passive ability is actually the one ability that tells us the most about how this champion likes to be played. Alright, so our passive ability on Akshan is called Dirty Fighting. It's quite essential. What this one basically does is that it allows us to, first of all, every time that Akshan fires off his auto attack, he actually fires twice. He does this, boom, and do, which is pretty cool. The thing is that you can actually go ahead and you can interrupt this cast. If you interrupt this second shot, then what is going to happen is basically that Akshan is going to gain movement speed. So if we do this, you can see basically we get this blue down here that shows that we gained movement speed. So this is if we get the chain and we stop it. Right here you can see attack and give us movement speed. This is really nice because this allows us on Akshan to actually kite our opponents a lot better, which we'll talk more about soon, because this champion is really good at running down other champions, and I'll explain exactly why that is, because his abilities actually tell us exactly what he's good at, which is something a lot of people, especially as a new champ comes out, they don't really know. But yeah, this champ is really good at running other champs down. You gain movement speed by simply stopping your auto before he does this double shot. If he does the double shot, you do of course an extra shot, which is super nice. This is the optimal damage, but for kiting purpose or catching up to your opponent, maybe they're trying to run under turret and get away from you, then do one auto and run. Do one auto and run. This is going to give you movement speed and allow you to stick on your target. All right, so that's the first part of Dirty Fighting. I know that, yeah, the passive is boring. There's another part of it. The second part of it is the one that most of us probably notice pretty visually, and that's whenever we attack a target, you see right down here these squares basically getting summoned. I don't know what to call it. Like, you see these visual squares on the target, and once this hits 3, you do a burst of damage. You can see we did a lot more damage. So every time, this is very similar to Vayne's Silver Balls, is that every time we hit a target 3 times, then this burst of damage come out. But not only that, Akshan actually also receives a shield when this happens. So you'll see as we hit this target the 3rd time, we actually gain a shield right here. This tells us again that Akshan actually, or Akshan, I'm still unsure how to pronounce this. He's really wants to duel people. He's a really good like dueling and catching up to people champion, and it'll get really like, this will get really prominent, really you'll really understand why that is when we get to the W. But for now, you can already see we have an ability that allows us to catch up to our target simply by canceling our auto and not do the double auto. We have an ability that deals a burst of damage and gives us a shield whenever we hit the same target several times. It should be noted that the difference between this ability and Vayne's Silver Balls is that, first of all, this one does not deal true damage, and secondly, this one can actually be applied to several targets. So if we go ahead and attack different targets, you'll see that we have the stacks on both targets. On Vayne, you would lose it. This means that on Akshan, it doesn't need to be consecutive shots on the same target. It just needs to be shots. This means that an item like Hurricane can also potentially be really good in some games to AoE people down pretty fast. All right, so that was our first passive. I know it was kind of like a big swallow. Like, it was a bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't get that much easier. Like, the Q is quite simple though, I promise you guys. So our Q is what we call Avengerang. Avengerang. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think it's mean like avenge, but rang. It's like a boomerang. Yeah, all right. I don't know. I don't know if that's the purpose with it. But anyway, it's Avengerang, and it's very similar to Severe's boomerang. But then again, not really. But I'll explain to you guys why. So first of all, it has a pretty short range. So if we cast it, you can see that the range is not really that far. It's not really... It's kind of iffy, right? The thing is that every time we hit an enemy, then its range actually become longer, which is pretty cool. So if we have several enemies, you can see how long it suddenly starts traveling. So if we have even more, you can see how it keeps just getting longer and longer, which is pretty freaking cool. And here comes one of the things that a lot of people don't know about this ability, and that is that this ability not only travels longer. First of all, let's just... the damage is very similar to Severe's. It deals damage on the way out and on the way back. But the cool thing about this one, which is different from Severe's boomerang, is that this one actually grants you vision. So if somebody's inside a bush... we know right now there's somebody in this bush. We'll actually get true sight off this opponent as it hits it, if we're in range, that is. All right, so that's a little awkward. We'll try again here, see if I can get in range. We'll actually get true vision off it. You can see we get full vision of anything in that bush as it hits it. So this means that you can use your Q not only to hit people that are sitting in a bush, but also to grant vision. If you're unsure whether or not somebody's in a bush, then instead of face checking it fully, you can use something like the scuttle here, extend the range, and then hit the target in here, right? So if somebody's standing in here, hiding, let's see if I can, if the scuttle wants to get in position, then we can actually do this, and you can see we can use the scuttle, extend the range, and see if somebody's in the bush by using our Q. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, this one basically grants you vision. It does apply the same effects on the way back. So let's say that we fire off our Q and nobody's in the bush, and then on the way back maybe somebody flashed in or dashed and it hits them on the way. You still get vision, and you actually get like true sight of this area for like 1 second. You can see it sticks for a moment. It's just not like, it's longer than just the second where it hits, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's the Avengerang. That's the Q. It's a quite simple spell, but also quite useful when you know this part, which I think a lot of people will miss. All right, then there's our next ability, which is called Going Rogue. And yeah, get ready for this one, guys. This is a good one. It's a really good one. This is... Whew. All right, so Going Rogue. It has, first of all, a passive side. So the passive side of Going Rogue is basically that whenever you attack a target, or whenever an enemy kills somebody, then they get what we call a scoundrel. So if, let's say, this dummy kills our good friend Mr. Kale, then this enemy gets what is called a scoundrel on him. You'll actually see it on your toolbar down here. They'll pop up a little toolbar right here showing who has a scoundrel. If a target has a scoundrel, this scoundrel is on them for 60 seconds. It's not something you can see visually except for the bar. It's just something you gotta know. So what is a scoundrel? Well, scoundrel basically means that for 60 seconds, this target has the scoundrel, and several enemies can have it. But if we go ahead and kill this guy, we take down this dude, and he has the scoundrel from just killing Kale, or good friend, or very nice teammate Kale, or pre-made Kale, I don't know, but or teammate. Then what's gonna happen when we kill this guy, if the scoundrel is still on him, is that not only are we gonna receive an extra 100 gold, which means it's more gold in our pocket, we're also gonna go ahead and actually resurrect our teammate. This is kind of insane. So if you do a takedown, and let me just define what a takedown is, because a lot of people will misunderstand this. A takedown is not necessarily you getting the kill. It just means that you get the assist. But the flip side is that in order to kind of consume this scoundrel or from the enemy, then you have to have dealt damage to that target within 3 seconds of the target dying. You don't have to get the kill, but you have to do damage to them within 3 seconds before they die. All right. So you might think, but MipZ, does this just mean that I can rest my whole team if one guy killed my entire team? Yeah, pretty much. Cool. But the flip side, let's say that we have this guy, this dummy, and we have this dummy. Oh, wow. Can we summon we have 3 dummies here. All right, this dummy right here has 1 kill. This dummy has 3 kills, and this one has 1 kill. All right, so you might think, what happens if I kill all 3 of them? Well, first of all, if I kill this one of our teammates gonna get rest. We get 100 gold. And you might be like, well, can you just kill the others and the others will rest as well? No, you cannot. Because what basically happens is that when you kill one target, then you consume all of those scoundrels. And that means that all of the scoundrels on other targets are going to get reset. So this means that suddenly these 2 doesn't have scoundrels, even though they killed somebody recently. Of course, if they kill somebody right after, they're going to receive a scoundrel. So, yeah. But what does this mean for you as an Akshan? Or I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this name, by the way. What does this mean for you as this Akshan player? This means that ideally you want to try and think about, if your team is dying, think about who you're killing. Who can benefit you the most to take down? Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. So ideally right here, we would kill the guy that just killed 3 of our mates, because that's going to rest 3 teammates. All right, so that's the passive side of that one. So just to kind of summarize, every time an enemy kills one of your teammates, they get a scoundrel. If you kill or do a takedown on an enemy champ that has scoundrels, you're going to rest whoever that champion killed within the last 60 seconds. And a takedown is, as we mentioned, only a kill or assist on that target, but you have to have dealt damage to that target within the last 3 seconds of that enemy dying. All right, that was a big one. All right, for the active side of this ability, and this is where things become, oh yeah, I know it's a long one. Or the active side of this ability is that Akshan can also go invisibility, because yeah, it's not enough with a insane rest. So Akshan can click his W. This means that he goes invisible, and as you guys can see, as soon as people are inside this ring, they will be able to see you. The invisibility is just kind of cool. It doesn't really do that much else, but the thing with it is, and here's the plot twist, that yes, invisibility is insane, because this means you can sneak up on your opponents. Again, this is what we talked about before. Akshan really likes to he really likes to kill enemies, and he really likes to track them down. He's kind of a duelist in this way. But yeah, when you use this ability, you don't get any mobility, or when you use this ability, you don't get any mobility. It means you don't move faster or anything, unless the target has a scoundrel. Again, this tells you that Akshan wants to track down people that just killed your teammates. You want to avenge them. So the way this works is that if this dummy has a scoundrel, if this enemy has a scoundrel and we pop or W, then we actually get extra mobility as we're running to this target. And that's pretty freaking neat. And that's really the big part of this one. Apart from that, then also when we do this, he also, like when you use your going rogue towards a target that does have a scoundrel, Akshan also starts regenerating some mana, meaning he's getting ready for a new fight, which is pretty insane. So this is, again, like, even if you're low mana, if there's a target that has 3 scoundrels, you can do W, you can run towards your target, you're going to regain some mana, and you're also going to run faster. And this means even if you're running after them and they're trying to get away, and you can't, and you want to get in these double shots, then you can do a double shot into a W, run after them, do another auto attack. Essentially. All right, so there's a third part about the invisibility here, and that is if you use the invisibility on Akshan, then what you can do is you can, if you move by walls or in bushes, then the invisibility actually works indefinitely, meaning that you can stay in this forever if you move by walls or by in bushes. So you can see how we're staying in this here, which is pretty cool. If you re-click W, you will of course break it by recasting it. All right, so that was that part. Holy, yeah, I know these abilities are kind of tricky. All right, the next ability we have is what is called Heroic Swing. Heroic Swing is a big part of what people like about Akshan. It's pretty cool. So what this one basically does is that it allows you to fire off this grappling hook. That's the first part. You can very easily get interrupted in this. Be aware, if you get interrupted, the ability goes on cooldown. You can cast this one, then you click on the side, and he's going to start basically whirling around like a superhero. You're gonna feel a little bit like a Spider-Man or like Assassin's Creed or whatever. It's pretty cool. And while he's doing this, not only is he like kind of a Spider-Man, but at the same time he goes full on Matrix on his enemies and start shooting while he's midair. Again, here's some tricky things that a lot of people don't know about this ability. So first of all, as we fly here, we know that it deals damage to targets. So let's as an example, put a dummy here. As we fly around here, you can see we just deal damage to this target, which is pretty cool. All right. The thing with your heroic swing is that it deals damage to the closest target. So let's say in a scenario where we want to go in and we maybe want to dive the enemy target right in here. So we fire off our E and we actually fly around here. But what will happen is if there's minions in here is that we'll hit the closest target. Again, I'll just try and show you now that the minions are here. You can see as we fly around, we'll hit the minions and not the target that we want to hit. And this is, of course, kind of awkward, right? Here's the thing. What you can do is that Akshan will actually prioritize whatever target has the dirty fighting debuff on them, meaning the stack that looks a little bit like Vayne's passive, right? This one. So we want to apply this if we're going to go for a play where there are several opponents. Then we actually want to make sure that we have applied our Q to that target prior to going in there. Because this will allow us to choose which target. So let's, as an example, we'll put up a dummy right here. And I'll go fire off just a normal attack on this one to just show you. As we fly in, you'll see that as we get to this, we will actually prioritize this target. Again, the same counts over here. If we have two targets and both of them are in range, but one of them has this on them, then even though they're not the closest target, you can see how it will prioritize the dummy that does have the dirty fighting debuff. And this is something you want to keep in mind, that this is the way that you can choose target because it will fire at the closest target. In terms of the overall usage of your E, you can be very creative with it. You can use it around edges, fly around different places. It's pretty cool. And it's really learning how to best optimize the path. If you hit into an enemy champion while flying, it will break the grappling hook. As you guys can see right here, if I place a dummy right here and I try to fly and I hit in, you can see I stop right there. I'm not changing anything. I'm just getting absolutely interrupted by it. All right, so you know now you get interrupted by either a collision with terrain or with champions. So learning how to use this is quite essential, and learning how to optimize its path. Like you can use it like small around edges like this, and you can even use it like a pretty cool place. I think one of the good places right here, something like this, where maybe you have a dummy on this side and you pop this and you just fly around. You can see we deal damage all the way around. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so that's our heroic swing. It's pretty cool. One thing you do also get is if you get a takedown, then this ability resets, or you get the cooldown back, which is pretty cool. So you can use it, like if you know you're gonna get a kill, make sure to use this to get in a better position before that. So let's say that we're killing this target and I haven't needed my E for killing him. Then it might be good to finish that target using my E to reposition, maybe to catch up to another enemy that's over here, right? And then I can fly over there after him. So make sure that you think about this reset on your ability. It's extremely good. All right, so that was our E. We're almost through, guys. We're almost through. I know. All right, so now we have our ult. Our ult is pretty cool. It's basically this thing that you can cast really, really far away. Your ult can only be cast on champions. When you cast it, it charges up for 2.5 seconds. Then it fires off a series of shots, each shot dealing quite a bit of damage. It deals much more damage the lower the target's health is. So you want to try and prioritize targets if they're already below 50% health, because the damage of your ult increases from 0 to 300% depending on the target's missing health. So the lower the health, the more the damage. All right, so you can only fire this on to champions, but if there is something obstructing the champion, anything, then it will actually go ahead and block your opponent, or block the path, block the shots. So right here, we place it behind a turret. If we fire our ult, you'll see that the turret actually just absorbs that straight away. Something I actually don't know that I just want to test is what happens if we can't do it on something like this turret, because this turret is a turret that we don't have, like we cannot deal damage to it. All right, pretty cool. This is a nice thing. I actually didn't know this, and I was just wondering. If it's a turret that hasn't opened yet, you will actually shoot through it. This is a pretty neat thing. So that's good to know. If somebody's trying to run away, they cannot hide behind a turret that isn't open yet. So if you haven't killed this one. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much your ult. You can fire this off. It has extremely long range, as you guys can see on the map. Like, I can literally fire it all the way up here. Oh, goddamn, we don't have vision. Let me just put vision. Let's put vision here, and we'll go back down. All right. You can see we can basically fire it all the way from here. It has basically like a Caitlyn ult. What you can do is you can cast it earlier, which means that you can click it right away and it'll instantly fire. If you do this, you do less damage because it's going to fire less bullets. The way it works is that this charge up time is basically just charging up the number of bullets that you're going to shoot. So basically 0.5 seconds or so after clicking R, you can instantly click it again and it'll fire it off. But you can see significantly lower damage because we're not firing as many shots. All right. So that's kind of that one as well. It's kind of a cool ability. And I feel like this overall showed you quite a lot about how Akshan likes to be played. He has a lot of abilities that allow him to catch up to his targets. He gains extra movement speed when he walks towards enemies that have scoundrels, meaning people that just killed his teammates. He can stay invis if he's staying close to walls or in bushes. He can gain vision of people if they're going into a bush by using your Q. So really think about your Q usage. Let's say that you're trying to gank someone in top lane and they're running into the bush up here. Then maybe don't fire off your Q before they're actually in the bush, because this will allow you to gain vision and get some autos on them without consuming a ward. So yeah, this is some of the stuff you really do need to think about when playing this champion. He is absolutely insane and he's going to be a really high skill champ, but I hope you guys are gonna master him, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this video. I really enjoyed making it. Oh yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention is you can actually cast your ult or heroic swing while ulting, or vice versa. You can also use your E and start your ult, right? You can do like this and then can ult. I think the best usage for this is actually down here. Let's say that you're trying to dive somebody under turret. He's right there. And what we want to do is we want to ult this guy. The best thing I think we can do, or you can do on him, is you click ult on him, then you E and you fly. Oh god, I messed it up. All right, let me try again. You ult and then you click your E and you fly around, and as you fly around, you're actually going to be positioned right where he's trying to. So even if he ran over here or here, he would still get hit by it. So you can use it to dive. I think it's best to use the ult prior to jumping in there, because this is going to allow you to take usage off this swing, right? So if you pull it right, wow, yeah, I know I'm a little bad at doing it here, but I feel like you guys get the point, right? That ideally swinging around it, I don't know why it really wants to swing the wrong way, but anyways, I think you guys get the gist of it. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, or find it helpful, or learned a thing or two about Akshan, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe down underneath if you are new here. Would love to have you as a part of the community. And lastly, if you want to hang out with me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. As always, stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy, guys.